Zane Clodfelter, Preston Leinenbach. It's our OttersTV series and season wrap-up. The Otters' regular season is over. Evansville finishes with 57 wins. They reach a franchise milestone with that in terms of single-season victories, and missed the playoffs by, just a game.
Yeah, just one game shy. Ironically, I guess, with the way the standings actually finished out, but it's tough. It's obviously a hard pill to swallow for, I'm sure, a lot of our players after putting together such a successful season. Another 57-win season, just as they did in 2019. Where in 2019 they got them into the postseason, not so much this year because of the different format. But however, again, just obviously record-wise a good winning season for this team. Just didn't quite have, again, the right luck, I guess, at the end, and the right bricks to go their way down the stretch. And give credit to Florence. They won their games this week. I mean, they were ready to finish it out for the West Division. Tip the cap to them.
Yeah, no, you do tip the cap, and it's just weird. Baseball works in mysterious ways because this franchise won its first Frontier League championship and made the postseason with the sub-500 record. I think some people forget that the 2006 Otters were 46-50, and here this Evansville team finishes with 11 more victories, yet it's not good enough this year.
Yeah, it's not good enough. Again, just with only division winners making it, and with the Otters being in the most competitive division with probably the most talent across the board, not disrespecting the other divisions, but top to bottom. We had the likes of the competition that Evansville had it with Florence and Southern Illinois here in the last month of the season. It's hard to argue otherwise.
I will disrespect the other divisions. I mean, it's going to be,
And I always say no disrespect because some of the other teams in those other divisions finished out strong. I mean, Washington came to mind for me. They had a kind of a tough start of the year. They got hot. They ended up finding their way into the postseason. Tri-City and Quebec, they both kind of got the slow starts. They both have finished out well. So there's been a lot of good teams that have finished well here in the end of the season.
Let's briefly just reference the final 3 games of the series, and then we'll have a more, I guess, wide lens perspective on the season as a whole. Friday, after Evansville rallied the way that the Otters did, after falling behind 2-0, capitalizing on Lake Erie mistakes, they won that game 3-2. You thought, okay, maybe that is going to be the shot in the arm that Evansville needs going into the week, and then sadly on Saturday, just the offense couldn't get it going.
Couldn't get going, and really just, pitchers duels for the first 2 games, and even for the Sunday finale as well. The pitchers were playing tough. They weren't budging, weren't trying to give way, and the offense has just had tough times getting the ball in play, especially with the Otters, who throughout most of the season have had really good offensive numbers. But when you come across good pitching, it's more often than not the pitching's going to win those battles, and that's just kind of what happened here in the last few days. And again, I think we saw where there's some shuffling around the line, just trying to get guys some extra rest here and there just to keep them fresh here down the stretch, because it is a long season. Guys are going to get tired. You got to just kind of do different things to see what can we do to keep our team the freshest at this point in the year. And again, just kind of a tough fall, I guess, at the end with the way that here now this season ends a streak where the Otters have made the postseason, going back to 2016, and then going back. Just this overall stretch where even in 2014 with the wild card games they made, it's just kind of a different feeling where the Otters aren't in the postseason because they've had success over these last few years consistently.
And the irony is, too, in 2014 the Otters also won 57 games, but all the other playoff appearances outside of 2019, when the Otters made the playoffs, they didn't have 57 wins. They had fewer wins. So
yeah,
it is
weird.
It is what it is, and for me, it's always, it's somewhat emotional. You grind, and Preston, more than anybody here at this ballpark, you grind and you work and you put a lot of time, effort, and energy, and you're always thinking, man, I just need a break. And then when that break comes, as someone who just finished, my 10th year and 10th season with the team, when that break does come and there isn't a game to promote over the public address system, it kind of hits you.
It's weird when you have to, now going forward into the next few weeks and into the off season, where you'll actually have your evenings free and just go home.
Yeah.
Do I try to see what's on TV? Do I play with my phone? Right. What will I do with my time?
And you got to give Andy McCauley a ton of credit. The manager for Evansville. You have that run of success, and then COVID happens, and
Yeah.
going into the year, Preston, I really thought, okay,
I had no idea what to think about going to this year with so many new faces, because then only 5 players came back from the 2019 roster. Ended up being 6 in total when Taylor Wright joined the roster, but because at the time of opening day, and that's what I'm basing this off of, the opening day roster, Taylor Wright was not with the team, so it was only 5 at that time. So it ended up being a total of 6. That's not a lot of returning experience, but yet you had guys, obviously, like Schultz, who had been here previous years, so he knew how things worked. You had Allen join the team at the end of the season, he knew how things were. But there were still just a lot of questions going into the season. Like, I had no idea what to think, what to expect with so many new faces that I had never seen play before, but yet they figured it out.
No, it was clear Andy was still doing his job, even in the midst of a pandemic, and scouting and talking to those in baseball that he knows, that, you know, he was able to get in contact with a lot of these guys. And I'll admit, you know, I had lower expectations coming in because, like you said, I didn't know what to expect. And considering baseball, eventually a team kind of falters after a long run, I maybe thought, okay, well, it'd be fair if the Otters kind of did falter after a pandemic with a bunch of new players. But no, they really hit the ground running.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like there was no effect to this team, and it's still just a lot of great moments to come off of, again, the year of not having baseball. And, I mean, I think for me, it's actually something that I'm kind of, you know, proud of being here now in my 5th season overall, or for 5th year overall. When we got the news last week that Brandon Sittinger got the call up to Major League Baseball, I think that's a huge pinnacle point. We were both here for 2019 when he was here in Evansville pitching, and just to kind of see that and be kind of a part of, like,
He was on OttersTV.
He was on OttersTV. Like, that kind of felt, you know, you feel like he had kind of a, I mean, obviously it's all him on the mound, but, you know, the fact that, you know, he was just here a couple of years ago, it just feels great.
No, and after the Otters' final game on Sunday, I went into the clubhouse and I did say goodbye to Josh Allen, because what a career.
Yeah. And his numbers still reflect that he could still play on his own personal choice if he wanted to.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I get it.
I get it.
And so no, he made sure to communicate his love and appreciation for, you know, not just his teammates when I chatted with them, and not just Andy and the staff, but everybody within our organization. And that's why Josh Allen will always be one of my favorites.
For sure. Yep. Him. I mean, we talk about all the time. There's always kind of the real high class guys that we hate to see him go. And, you know, a few years ago we thought that was going to be John Schultz, but he came back, so it's great to, you know, that he got to come back. And I mean, you can put Tyler Bell in that same category. We know his season didn't go as he had planned with the injury, but we're hoping to see him back here at Bosse Field.
I'd love to see Tyler Bell back pitching again.
Yep.
Strikeouts for Sam, we got to keep that going as long as we possibly can. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I do want to say, and I say it in the season wrap-up video that we do every year, we have a lot of people to thank, because we get a lot of access and we get to do a lot of things that you don't see around other Frontier League teams. And so I want to thank Andy McCauley for the transparency and for allowing us to sit down with his players, with his coaches, for us to kind of show you, the fans, some of the things, that the inner workings of this team that you might not see, you know, just on a normal game experience. Our front office is just awesome. You know, John Stanley is great, Joel Padfield, Travis Painter, you know, Preston Leinenbach, they're Brittany Skinner. I'm going to start listing off people I'm going to forget. You know, Keith Milliken. If I leave you off, I'm
KJ!
Yeah, and KJ, just an incredible group to work with. And then,
I mean, that includes the interns we had this year. I mean, we had some really great interns this year, and obviously some of them had to go back to school, couldn't finish out the season, but they know who they are, and just some really good interns, and we hope that we get to see them soon.
And I owe the biggest, you know, debt of thanks to Bill Busting, because, you know, 2011, I'm in college, just trying to graduate, as my parents will tell you, and that opportunity that I got in 2011, and I'm still here a decade later, it's something you don't take for granted. So.
Yeah, definitely not, and it's, you know, thankfully right here in our backyard where we grew up, so, you know, it kind of has a little extra specialness to it. I also want to point out that we want to give the biggest salute and thanks to Boots Day.
Yeah.
He calls it a career, and to be here on his final game with the bottom of the first, seeing him bat, and then take his normal spot in the first base coaching box, and just to kind of see everything that's kind of transpired here in the last few weeks as his final goodbyes and final presentations. And what we could do to honor him has been really special to be a part of and get to see that. So, he's one of the best.
And change in baseball, as it is with life, it's inevitable. And so, I've learned as I've gotten older that you have to just adapt and adjust. And so there will be some changes for the Otters, I'm sure, with players coming and going, and obviously Boots Day and the big shoes that he has left to fill. But goal for me, be back in 2022 with you, Preston. We'll do it all over again.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and hopefully no interruptions this time. This is what we said back in 2019. There's a long interruption until we got back here in 2021. Hopefully that's not the case, and it'll be back here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, never take being here for granted. So I think all of us learned that a little bit after last year. Big thanks to all those who recorded us this year. That includes Trevor Bell. That includes Big Red Jordan Fisher, who's doing our recording here today. And
Ryan Brown
as well.
And credit to him, he didn't turn his back on his Otters fandom that we converted him to this year. After he went back to school, we got multiple text messages from him saying he was that he's watching and listening. So we're glad that he was part of our Otters family.
I actually got a text message from him this afternoon, so made my eyes water. But we'll be around OttersTV in the off season, doing what we normally do, keeping you up to date on your favorite hometown team. For Preston, Leinenbach, and Big Red Jordan Fisher, I'm Zane Clodfelter. This has been OttersTV.